What's up, everybody? Welcome to AEW Uncensored. Rocking solo again, as you guys know, probably till at least the end of the year, probably longer. Possibly has some guest spots from some friends. But what's up, everybody? John, what's up, brother? See you in the chat already. As always, thank you for that. Facebook, what's up? Give me a shout on Facebook. Love to hear from you. Still fairly new on the Facebook. We've been going on YouTube for a bit. Big Dub, what's up, brother? Just popping in to say what's up. Thank you, man. I have a great show, he said. Thank you very much. I guess we just get rolling here. All right, please like, share, subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Share on Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube. Appreciate that. Everything we do is on uncensoredalliance.com. We find us on Twitter at AEW Uncensored. Email AEW Uncensored Podcast at gmail.com. We are on Facebook page and a group. Throw AEW Uncensored Podcast in the search bar. Like the page, join the group. We're on all third-party podcast applications, including Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, and iTunes. Please write us a review on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. And as always, if you want to join the show live and get your opinions across, hit us on Skype, link in the description. We are always on at 3:05 Eastern Time on Sundays. I was a little bit late today. I apologize. A lot of these apps needed updating because I don't go on them but once a week, so apologize. Shout out to Facebook. I see we got a bunch of viewers on there, so shout out to you guys. Let me hear you in the chat, please. I'd love to hear from you. Eddie, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Eddie's over there in the YouTube chat. Thank you for that. All right, so let's get going. Real quick, there was a little exchange between Mall of America and a fan or something, and with AEW going to Minnesota for the next pay-per-view, they offered an invitation for AEW to host a show at the Mall of America. So that would be cool. I mean, that was like the very first Nitro was at Mall of America. I remember that pretty vividly, even with my shit memory. That was a pretty cool event. And I think AEW going there would be pretty sweet. Would be pretty fun. All right. Now, there was some violence talked about in this show, and I'm hearing a lot of, not a lot, but some guys that are just like, oh, they shouldn't have talked about, Orange should have talked about what he did, and it's like, these same people love video games or they love movies. It's like wrestling is just that. It's make believe. It's made up fake fighting, and it's about violence. And if you really have a problem with that, I don't know what to tell you, because if you like action flicks or stuff like that, where just say John Wick, you like gun violence, is that saying that you approve of it, or is it just it's interesting and fun? You know what I mean? For me, it's just fun. So I don't know. People complain about that. It's almost like, then check what you watch in terms of movies and stuff, and of course video game players and stuff like that. So just a little thing that I had. I was hearing a little bit too much of it. People complaining about it, but believe it or not, Facebook wasn't too harsh on it. But some things I was listening to, some people really were giving it some shit. All right, let's start off with Dynamite. We'll start off with Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole. I think it was before this or during the match. I love the fact that Excalibur was reading off the next two upcoming shows. The way he was reading it really had this NWA vibe. When they would have going into commercial, they would read off the next coming events in the area. Nassau Coliseum, 805 Sunday, and they would read it off like that, and then they would just go down the line for all the local shows they were doing. And I really enjoyed that. I like the vibe of it. Like, if you go back and you listen to it, it really had that NWA tone to it, So that was pretty cool. But in terms of the match, all right, so Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole, I love the pace of this match. We we know that Jungle Boy can do a lot of this fast-paced, high-flying stuff and work really clean, but I really enjoyed seeing him work this slower match pace. It wasn't crazy, it wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. It was like almost perfect. And I'll talk about the match, the opening match on Rampage, how I kind of felt the opposite, believe it or not. I do like the slow down matches because I think the high pace is a little too much. But here it was like just a good amount. It was like a little bit plus some good mat wrestling, some good. Jungle Boy could do it all, and Adam Cole's proven that he's top notch in the ring. So I really liked it. I liked the pace of the match. Just basically with these two guys, it was just a hell of a match. Both guys killed it, and nothing more to say there. I think that was probably the match of the night off the top of my head. After that, we got a promo with the Elite. Omega says Danielson will never get a rematch, and of course, out comes Danielson. He gets the fans chanting Kenny no balls, and he challenges any one of them to a match on Rampage. Then out comes Jurassic Express and Kaz to help. Jurassic Express, Kaz, and I believe Christian to help run off the Elite. So, this basically leads to Rampage, where Nick Jackson and Bryan Danielson have a match, and of course, next week it's going to be the Elite versus, Jurassic Express, Kaz, and Christian. So, and Bryan Danielson. I don't know exactly who all was in the match. I know they announced it. I didn't take close notes of it, but again, another multi-man match that it's like, Jesus Christ. We get a Lucha Brothers promo. Andrade interrupts, and he says they haven't defended those AAA tag titles in a while, and he has some friends that might have some interest in them. So that was pretty interesting. I'm curious to see who they might bring in from AAA, or someone they might bring in to team with Andrade to get that match going. Next up, we had Cody and Lee Johnson versus Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. For me, the best part of this was Punk, when he said during the entrance, where he said he wonders how much money was spent on Cody's entrance. How much money was wasted on Cody's entrance, not how much money was spent on Cody's entrance. So I thought that was fucking brilliant, because we all know that, a lot of people have issues with Cody having all this extra pyro and coming up in the middle of the tunnels and such and such. So I agree, and I got a kick out of it. So Arn wants Lee Johnson to start off this match. Then Cody basically jumps in and starts the match without him. So Cody's like, I ain't listening. I'm not taking cues. I'm going to just do what I want to do. I want to get at it. So he's showing little bits of signs of heel turns here. He's done this in the past. So does it lead somewhere? Not sure. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I have a feeling it does. I have a feeling the end of this match kind of will be one of the catalysts of Cody becoming a heel. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second. The match ends with Johnson picking up the win after he dragged Cody to the corner and tagged himself in. So basically, Lee said, all right, Cody's not focused, so I got to take this and get the win. So he drags Cody over, tags himself in, and gets the W. Then after this match, we get Shivani in a ring for an interview. Cody calls out Black. Arn cuts him off and says Black is an assassin. That's why he destroyed all of them. Basically went through each one. Arn said he went through each one of them. Cody had him, but he went out to check on Arn instead of finishing Black. When Arn had fell off the pole there, the ring post. Arn says there's a difference between him and Cody, and if somebody came to yank him out of his car and told him to get out, Cody would be okay with it and say, just don't hurt me. As to where Arn said he will pull out his Glock, put it to his head, and splatter his brains all over the roof. So personally, I loved it. I loved hearing the aggression in it, the aggressive shit, and some of the stuff I heard after this was just like people are so offended by it, and it's like, why are you offended by this? Like I mentioned earlier, just a little bit ago, it's like you like these fucking John Wick movies and stuff like that, and Fast and Furious and this and that, video games with all this violence, but yet Arn Anderson saying this in a violent, what you would call sport, or it's basically a soap opera, you know what I mean? So why are you mad at that? Why does that upset you? Why does that turn you off? It makes no sense to me why that would turn you off, but you're good with John Wick, Let me watch John Wick and everybody he's battling have 50 fucking guns and 9 million bullets shooting, and it just makes no sense to me. I don't know why people get that way in their head. It just makes no sense. It really doesn't. So basically, after that, Arn takes Lee Johnson and walks off. This is exactly how I've kind of seen the Cody turn happening. It was him being more and more aggressive and it turning him heel. It's kind of the direction he's been hinting at, but with Arn saying that he isn't a badass, it's kind of now it's gonna have Cody thinking, well, now I have to be a badass, and it's almost, you have to take that turn in order to win. And I kind of felt that way if you like I mentioned before, if you listen to things Aleister Black was saying and how he wasn't prepared for him, and he wasn't willing to go that mile, and it's almost the same thing Arn said, and I thought Aleister Black was a perfect catalyst for Cody to finally do that heel turn. So if he does, that's great. You have a little bit of good working situations there. Cody versus Punk, Cody and Danielson, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of exactly the direction I figured it might take with this whole Aleister Black thing. So, so far so good. Who knows? I mean, Cody's shown signs of doing a heel turn in the past, and nothing's come of it. So, next up we have Moxley, Kingston, and Darby versus Green and Bear Country. Don't know this Green kid. Apparently he's from NXT. Bear Country, it's good to see them back. Basically, this was basically a quick squash match. It was nothing to write home about, to be honest. Nothing major. Ruby and Britt had a promo video package, so that was pretty cool. I always like when they do that kind of mix of promo and video packages. It's it adds depth to the characters. I don't know. I don't feel like they're going in the Ruby Britt direction still, but this video package and promo package kind of makes me think they're going to stick with it. So, how long do they stick with this? I don't know. I thought maybe they might have exhausted it by now, but maybe not. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. So, then we had HFO versus Dark Order and Orange Cassidy. The match itself, I didn't really care about. We obviously know that this was Brodie Lee's hometown and a tribute to Brodie Lee. So, they had to get all the Dark Order in. I get it. I'm not a big fan. You guys know I hate these fucking, what was this, 8 versus 8? I mean, 16 or 18-man tag. It was just fucking too much. I didn't care about the match itself. I didn't pay too close attention because of that. But at the end, it was great where I believe it was Uno and Grayson were going to walk off. Reynolds wanted to, Uno was walking off, and out comes -1. He has a rolled up piece of paper, which from being the Elite was Brodie Lee's thing. He would throw the paper at the guys, and Brodie Jr. runs out, -1 with the paper, throws it at Uno, and then out comes Amanda Huber, which was awesome. I really liked it. She came out and she starts scolding Uno and saying, this is basically saying, this is bullshit. You guys are a family. This is for Brodie. Let's not fuck around. And Uno got fired up, ran back in. They go off. They go crazy. They take the victory and they celebrate with -1 and Amanda in the ring. Definitely a great moment. Definitely a moment that I had some tears for. I really appreciate that, and I was really happy the way they ended this and got the Dark Order kind of on the same page. Maybe this whole Dark Order not split, but divide was meant to just have this show be the mending patch. There's nobody that's going to come in and mend them. This show was what was going to come in and mend them for Brodie, you know, for the love of Brodie and the respect of Brodie and to honor Brodie in his hometown. So I like looking at it that way. I really like what they did. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of this whole bickering. I didn't think they did it well at all times, but I was curious where it was going, and I kind of feel like maybe this was the payoff where just being in Brodie's hometown, honoring Brodie and such was where the men came. It wasn't going to be Bray Wyatt coming in and bringing them together, or Hangman Page coming in and bringing them together. It was going to be the love of Brodie and the respect of Brodie and the honoring of Brodie, what was going to bring them together. So I really appreciate that and kind of see it that way now, that that's probably what that whole divide was built for. So shout to them. They did a great job. We'll see if that is true, how they go about the next couple weeks. But yeah, it was great, man. It was really good to see. Then we got a FTR promo, and in the promo, I think it was Cash had on an awesome shirt. It said "Fear the Rest Hold" T-shirt. So I really like that because it's like there's no such. It feels like there's no such thing as a rest hold anymore. There's no headlocks. I mean, there are, but you know, it seems like there's so much more just constant activity in a match that they don't want to do these rest holds. They think they're going to lose the crowd, and I really enjoyed that shirt. I really actually would like to get one of those. I wonder if they're available. I didn't even check. I'm not a big t-shirt buyer when it comes to wrestling shirts, but that's one I might have to get. Next up, we had Dan Lambert and Men of the Year. They all cut a promo, and I thought all three of these promos were fucking fire. I mean, they really did their thing, man. Ethan's great. Sky's got a good promo, man. I mean, you know, maybe he's not getting that shine that he deserves, but I saw it early on when he broke off from SCU. He really was doing some good promos, and of course, I love Dan Lambert. So, shouts out to Dan Lambert doing his thing for all the haters, because I know there's a lot of haters. It's about 50-50. I'll be honest. When you look at a lot of the Facebook comments and shit. So then we got Jesus Christmas, Shida and Serena Deeb. They got a promo. Shida's going for her 50th win, and looks like Serena Deeb's back. So they'll be wrestling on Dynamite next week. Serena Deeb had surgery on her knee, if I'm not mistaken. So it's good to see her back, and we'll see. I mean, Serena Deeb's playing the heel. Shida obviously the face, going for 50, and I think it'll be a banger of a match, honestly. Of the women's division, I think these two are probably the top of the heap, you know. Top five, definitely 1, 2, or 3, you know, between the three of them. So then we got Ty Conti and Anna Jay versus Penelope and the Bunny. Okay, now we've been discussing trios tag titles. There was the leak of it was kind of like a I can't say leak because it was given out purposely. So the person who makes the belts for AEW, he put out a strap from a new title that was coming soon, and they didn't say what title it was. Everybody's speculating, and my speculation was that it's a trios title. I mean, they're clearly doing a lot of trio shit. Super Click. If you go back the last few weeks and you look, there's a lot of trios hints. You know, the Gun Club. You know, they had their little thing, their promo. You know, so I see that it would be a triple trios match, trios title. However, if you notice tonight on the women on Dynamite on the women's tag match, they both teams have matching sets of gear. So that's a first. That's a first in the women's division, tag teams. I really hope that it doesn't mean that that title they showed off is going to turn out to be a women's title, because honestly, that's a worse decision than the trios title, because the women's division can't even handle what they have now. It's not up to speed. You know, think of the WWE. I believe they only did the women's tag titles a couple years ago, and they've had women in their wrestling in their promotion for over a decade, like just say currently over a decade, right? In the current sense, not panties and bra wrestling that they had before. And I don't know if they had tags before that. I just know that they've had them recently. And how successful are those? Like, how I don't hear anything about the tag titles in the women's division in WWE, and they have more established wrestlers and women who are better wrestlers in general, you know. So I just think it's not a good look to have women's tag titles, and with the matching outfits, it's almost another hint that that's something that might happen. Let's hope not. I gotta be honest. I mean, what the fuck do we need Ty Conti and Anna Jay and Penelope and the Bunny in tag matches anyway? They're all fucking, you know, Penelope has on and off matches, but Anna's still learning, but Ty Conti and the Bunny, I mean, they're pretty solid wrestlers that need to be doing something in the division, you know? I know Bunny's a heel and Britt's a heel, so put Bunny doing something else, you know? Put her with Ty Conti and her and have I mean, I know they're having their program now, but have like a legitimate program, even if Ty goes over, that she can go up against Britt for the title, and then put Bunny, say, against Thunder Rosa, you know what I mean, in the next program. There's a lot they could do there. I think tag titles would be a dumb move. You know, this is kind of confusing me that they got these matching outfits, you know. Maybe they just wear it when they tag together because they're friends, but otherwise, if it's leading to tag titles, ugh, that'd be pretty scary. Sorry, I went on a rant there. But either way, it was a pretty good match between these two teams. And again, Brodie Jr. came out there. I love seeing that. I love the love out there that they showed him, and you know, him and Ty Conti have really gotten close over the last year, and you know, so that was pretty cool to see. Next up, we had MJF promo. He says he wants the AEW title. Talks about the 4 pillars of AEW. Sammy, Jungle Boy, Darby, and he brushes over Darby, basically, you know, kind of showing a little disrespect there, and himself. Totally agree with him. Definitely the 4 pillars of the young studs that are in AEW. And out comes Darby. He took exception to this. Now, some really sharp lines. There was he calls Darby he said, "You look like a school shooter mime on a skateboard." He goes, "The school shooter mime on a skateboard routine." Now, I mean, that was fucking brilliant. Again, this was like, oh shit, like they said this. I was like, all right, I don't know, like that's pretty, like I don't care. I enjoyed it, but that's towing that line that you know, you're going to have problems with people, you know, these crybabies, again, with the Arn Anderson thing. And I like it. I have no problem with it, but I was like, holy shit. I thought that was almost like a little more touchy than the Arn Anderson thing. But again, I like it. I have no problem with it. I think it's great. I don't, you know, I have no issues with it. I like the edge. Like, for me, I like the edge of shit. I like things being edgy. I like things being raw. I don't like this fucking sucking everybody's dick and being all fucking nice and you know, lollipops and rainbows and shit. Like, that's not my thing. You know, the only thing I do have to say about this is, you know, you have the Arn thing, you have this, and then you go back and you go, oh well, the Sammy Guevara getting suspended for comments he made. Okay, these are fucking comments. All right, number one, it was a joking comment. You may or may not agree with it, but it was still a joking comment. And it was also over, what was it, 12 years ago? 10 years ago? At this point, probably 12. So there's that, right? You want to cancel your own wrestler for that. And then you go back to the Max Caster thing where Caster just said some factual shit and made jokes and make light of certain situations. And you cancel him for that. But then you also on your show allow the Glock statement. You allow the school shooter statement. And then in this same promo, you allow MJF to say the reason Darby's straight edge is because his drunk uncle took him in a car, crashed his car, and died, and Darby survived. And he says the wrong person died that night. It should have been Darby. I thought it was brutal, but fucking effective, and I liked it. Obviously Darby had to be okay with him saying this. They're not gonna just fucking do this without Darby's okay. And I like how they're playing it, because then Darby says, I'm not gonna let you get in my head, Max. That's what you're trying to do. Max gets flustered and goes, okay, and walks off. Now, this works perfectly for that, because it's so vicious that Darby, and it still didn't affect Darby. So my thing is, like, you have these type of comments, right? These type of segments, and you allow these segments to go through, but then Max Caster gets canceled by you, your own company, for a month. For what? For what? He didn't, there was no backlash on it. Like, I didn't see barely any backlash on it. I see more backlash about the Arn Anderson thing than I did the Max Caster rap from 3 months ago, So I don't know. I don't like make up your mind. Are you canceled? Are you a cancel organization, or are you not? Are you edgy? Because they do, like, if you ever hear Aubrey and them and all them talk backstage, and Cody, they all have loose lips, and they all have like slick shit, and they say crass stuff, and and on TV they say crass stuff, but then it's like they pick and choose what they want to cancel culture and what they want to SJW out there. They SJW this, they SJW that, and but some things are okay and some things aren't. I don't know. It's kind of like schizophrenic to me. It's all over the place. One last thing about this segment was that shot at Sting when talking about number twos. Totally uncalled for. I no longer like Max Caster. He could go fuck himself. Joking, obviously, but yeah, I didn't think that was called for. I know all the boys in the chat, they'll razz me about it. I'm surprised I haven't heard nothing yet, but obviously trying to take a shot at Sting there. Next up, we had Miro versus Sammy. This was for the TNT title. All right, this was a really good match. I don't think Sammy's ready. I don't think he's ready. Like, they gave him the title here. He took the title. I mean, he had that sick dive from the middle. He ran from the ring, jumped over the ring post, corkscrewing and everything onto Miro. I mean, that was fucking brutal. Sammy's just a fucking lunatic when it comes to the ring. He's poetry in there. Like, no lie, in the ring, he's fucking brilliant. He really is, and he takes all the risks. He doesn't give a fuck. He puts his body on the line. Miro's great, but I just don't think Sammy personally is ready. I think his lack of promo skills, and him selling comebacks is a real speed bump to me when it comes to him having a title. He's good in the ring, but his selling of the comebacks are a little rough. I mean, he really needs to work on that. And his promos. I mean, whenever he's cutting promos, he's literally running around the ring and just talking fast. It's like, dude, slow it down, take your time, breathe, get out what you want to say, and go from there. Like, don't rush yourself. Don't do this, don't do that. Just take your time, sit down on your words, and speak it, So I am not sure, like, I don't know. I don't hate it. Listen, I don't hate it because I am a Sammy fan. But I think if you're going to be the champ, you need something. You need that promo skill, You just really do. He definitely fucked up that 630. I wouldn't be surprised if Miro's nut legit was exploded. I mean, that was fucking brutal. He landed right on his nuts. It's almost like, man, you got, like, to end the match like that, you got to kind of take your time and do it right. I'm not a big fan of that 630 anyway, because I just feel like you're putting your whole body, just say 200 pounds, high in the air, spinning, and just landing on the guy on his fucking chest, I think it's, man, I don't know. I mean, the people taking it, take it, so who am I? But me personally, I think it's like, it's pretty rough move to be taking. Let's see. There was a video Lana put out, I believe, on Instagram Live, where she's saying, I'm glad to be here. She's at a signing, and She goes, guess who I ran into? And it was Sammy. And he goes, oh, the new champ. He's going to new champ. So they had a fun little exchange there. It was pretty funny. Lana's looking good as shit. I'll tell you that much. And I'd love to see her in AEW. I kind of been saying that. I don't know if I said it on the podcast as much, but I think she'd be great in AEW. John says Sammy is the opposite of Britt. Good in the ring and bad on the mic. 100%. 100%. You could listen. I mean, if you kind of like got to say, I feel like at least in the ring, if you could carry a match, you could carry a title. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. As to where I don't think Britt should be carrying a title. I think her personality is enough that she doesn't even need to carry the title, whereas Sammy needs to work on that mic skill, and he has the ability to carry a match in the ring. So I think he could get away with being the champ a little more than I would say Britt. Just my opinion. Britt's been doing a lot better since she's been champ, so I can't say too much negative about her. She's had a few moments, but I mean that's bound to happen. So at the end, Sammy cuts a promo and he says he hopes to be able to fill the shoes of the greatest TNT champ ever in Brodie Lee. He says he's been getting challenges, and Bobby Fish challenged him, and he accepts next week on Dynamite. So this happened after into the first commercial of Roads to the Top. The Bobby Fish thing. Anyway, he spoke about Brodie Lee in the ring, and then the challenge. He says he's been getting challenges from through text and messages and Twitter and all that. And Bobby Fish was one of the first challenges that he got, and he accepts it. That'll be on Dynamite next week. So that's pretty cool. Bobby Fish was just released from WWE not long ago with I forget who, like what wave he was released with, but so this happened again during the first commercial of Roads to the Top. During this, Lambert and the Men of the Year come out and confront him, and they're like, what about us? Like, why are you Bobby Fish? He ain't even from here. And he says, okay, after Bobby Fish next week, he says Bobby Fish has next week, but we could go now. And then they get into a little bit of a pull apart. So obviously one of the Men of the Year, if not both, are going to get a shot at Sammy and the TNT title soon. So I will say Roads to the Top. I did watch it. Not too bad. Brandy is annoying. Yeah, she still thinks that she wants to climb to the top and become the women's world champion. But reality is nobody wants her there except her. I don't even think her husband wants her there. And then we had the thing I liked about this show so far, I mean, it might change. It wasn't super heavily only Jesus Christ. Brandy and Cody Rhodes. It was some of them, yes, but it also showed some glimpses of backstage, which I really enjoyed. I mean, honestly, Total Divas is what got me into Bryan Danielson, Moxley, Renee, Miro, Lana. Like, that's kind of what got me into those wrestlers, So I'm hoping that this does the same. It was pretty cool seeing MJF sitting at the production table watching the matches with the production crew and just enjoying himself, because he's always in character. Some people say, oh, well, that'll kind of ruin the character because he's always in character, even in the autograph sessions and stuff. Well, honestly, it doesn't ruin it for me. I already know MJF's not a total douchebag, obviously it's a gimmick. I love that he plays the gimmick outside as well with autograph sessions and stuff like meet and greets and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's it on that. That's it on Dynamite and Roads to the Top. So next up we have Rampage. Now, okay, this is kind of where I was getting at early on, where the first match, the Jungle Boy and Adam Cole match, was nice. It was good pace, even though Jungle Boy can go. He didn't go too crazy, but it was still a good pace. This match, Nick Jackson versus Bryan Danielson, it was a good match, but I expected way more. Nick Jackson can really go in the ring. You know, I think he's better than Matt, obviously, and I felt like this was a little too slow. You know what I mean? I don't know how you all felt, but I felt it was a little too slow. I don't mind slow. I think there's too slow and then there's slow. When you got a guy like Nick Jackson, you could get in the middle really good. Same with Bryan Danielson. You could get in that middle really good. Like him and Omega really got in the middle and had a nice pace match, not necessarily having to go all balls to the wall. I felt like Nick Jackson kind of was just stuck in mud. Maybe I missed some stuff, but I just felt like he was stuck in the mud and the match itself was stuck in the mud. John, you're here. How do you feel about that? Do you feel the same way about this match, or am I off here? Because I feel like he was a little stuck. It was a little stuck in the mud. And basically, and to be honest, I mean, mostly this was a squash match. I mean, Nick got squashed. I didn't expect him to take over the whole match, but I don't remember having him that big of a offensive section in this match. I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense anyway. This way, Bryan Danielson's going through all those guys pretty easily. So, again, not bad. Just expect a little more. The ending was a little I hate that they have these forced confrontations and brawls just to promote the multi-man match next week. You know, why do we need to have them brawl at the end of this week's Rampage to promote next week's Dynamite match? We know they're wrestling. We know the history. We know this and that. We don't need an extra fucking 30-man brawl to realize that they're going to wrestle next week because it's already set. They're already wrestling next week. Why do we need the fucking 30-man brawl to promote the next week's wrestling match that we already know is happening, that we already know why it's happening? It's fucking annoying. I don't know. We all know there's heat and tension there, you know? Oh, my God. Anyway. I think that's my rant for the show. Next up, we had Hobbs and Hook. They start a little promo, and then it runs into a Stark segment where he goes from promo into the vignette there with Stark. So, it was good. I like these little vignettes. I don't know why they needed really Hobbs and Hook to fucking intro this. It didn't make sense to me, but I like the vignette itself. They really produce some good stuff. They really do good production on their vignettes and video packages. Next up, we had a Punk promo. It was just like a little. It wasn't out in the ring, or it was just in a little pre-tape promo. So, then after this, we had Jade versus Nyla versus Thunder Rosa. My notes literally say, "Ugh, this match was awful." I love Jade, but she's obviously greener than grass. Another thing that drives me nuts, you know, her coming down to her opponents to take shots is one thing. Another thing is she's always selling her chest. That whole match, she sold her chest. She just had her arm across her chest the whole time. I don't know why she does this. I don't know what it is. Hopefully she'll break this bad habit. Hopefully people are mentoring her about this bad habit, but you got to sell something else, you know? You got to kind of do other things. You can't just hold your arm over your chest the whole match. It just makes no sense to me. And anyway, I'm glad she won, but she's still too green. Her versus Britt, if that happens, I'm really scared to see what that match will look like visually. I think it'll be a fucking clusterfuck. I think, honestly, Jade could get away with her power moves and stuff, but I don't know if it gets into the intricacies of what Britt Baker tries to do, how it'll flow. Because Britt Baker likes to do some of these intricate things, and they flow like shit even when she wants to do them. You know, sometimes she literally gets caught rolling around a ring, and you're like, what? Like, she's literally just rolling the fuck around a ring, you know? So, I don't know. It could could end up pretty scary to watch. Then we get a Malachi Black promo. After this, we get a Sammy promo. And finally, we get to the main event. We got Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. This is a hair versus hair match. And honestly, I could fucking care less. I could care less about this match, the stipulation. I don't know. Jack Evans needed a haircut anyway. I mean, anybody else got tired of that stupid fucking ponytail he rocks? I mean, the shit was awful anyway. So hopefully he'll come out with a nice buzzed up head and, grow it out and won't look like a fucking rat's nest. So, yeah. At the very end, after Orange wins the match, they all come out to shave his head. Then out comes Brodie Jr. and the Dark Order, because Dark Order basically kept Hardy Family Office from interfering and cutting Jack Evans' hair. So they came out to help the Best Friends, as the Best Friends were outnumbered. So then they're all in the ring at the end. Again, this was still this was filmed in Brodie's hometown, in Rochester. So, Dark Order being out there to close off the show was great. Brodie Jr. being out there, up on the shoulders of Orange Cassidy. That was great, man. It was a great night overall. The two shows for Brodie Lee and to honor his memory, and to have his family there and such. That was great. AEW's just, I love AEW for that. They're really taking care of Brodie's family, John Huber's family, and it's awesome to see. And I always love -1, man. I always just love when he's out there. He's a fucking trip. The kid's gonna be a superstar when he's older. I could tell you that much. There's no way in hell that I don't see him being a superstar. I mean, that kid, even now, he's fucking great. Imagine when he gets all his faculties about him. He's just a little kid now. What is he, 9 years old now? So, it's great. It's great to see. Rest in peace, John Huber. Definitely missed. And, that's it for today, guys. I mean, not much on the ending of that match. I apologize. The ending of that show really wasn't a match I gave two shits about. So I apologize. Again, if you're listening to the show and there's things that I'm not talking about that you want to talk about, please hit me on Skype. I'd love to have you on the show and you could talk about them, maybe you see something and we could discuss it, and maybe I wouldn't have discussed it before that. Maybe you have interest in this last match and you had something to say about it and you want to get your point across. I'm willing. I want to give you that platform to get your point across to your people listening. So hit me up if you ever want to come on the show. Hit me on Skype and shit, come on week to week, whatever. All right, please like, share, subscribe, hit the thumb, hit the bell. Facebook. Thanks to everybody joining on Facebook. UncensoredAlliance.com. You find everything we do. Twitter, AEW Uncensored. Email AEW Uncensored Podcast at gmail.com. Facebook, AEW Uncensored Podcast. Throw that in the search bar. We have a page and a group. You'll see the page and the group. Like the page, join the group. We are on all third-party podcast applications. We are on Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, and of course iTunes. Please write us a review on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. Shout out to Lebanon. We are number 2 in Lebanon in wrestling podcast. Number 2 in Lebanon, man. I'm loving that. Shout out to Lebanon. We stay in Germany, man. Shout out to Germany. Germany keeping us in there every single day. We may not be to top, but we're always in their ratings, so shouts to them. And like always, like I said, you want to join me on the show? Hit me on Skype. Link in the description. We are live every Sunday, 3:05 Eastern Standard Time in the United States. All right. So thank you, everybody. See you next week. Peace.